On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we answer some of y'all's OU football questions. Then in FGTB, we talk about the Thunder being headed to the Western Conference Finals. In Football Guys Talkin Softball, we talk about OU's dominance at the Norman Regional. And then we give you our winners and losers of the weekend. Please download and subscribe to the podcast. Rate it 5 stars and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Monday, May 19th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and stay weather aware, Ted.
Yeah. I guess some stuff rolling in tonight, huh?
It's that time of the year, man.
It is.
Hope everyone out there in the state of Oklahoma stay safe.
Stay safe. We did have a flash flood earlier today, though. Woo!
Yeah, we did. We'll get to that. That second quarter, baby. The end of the second quarter in Game 7. Oh, your boy was fired up. We'll get to that. But like every podcaster, I guess not everyone, because last one we started with Patty Gasso, but
we do make one exception, I guess.
yeah, it's pretty much the only time we don't talk about OU football is when we have Patty Gasso on. But
That's right.
we did have you guys send in some questions. Just, hey, it's kind of a quiet time for OU football right now. This break between spring ball and summer workouts getting going, kind of leading into training camp. It's the quietest time in the college football calendar, but we kind of figured, hey, let's answer questions that our listeners have. That's the best thing we can do from a content standpoint. This first one, Ted, comes from Seth McMullen. He asks, is there a world where we have 8 draft picks next year?
Yeah.
That was a long pause, Ted.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a very optimistic, like we just had 2. Did we have 2 the year before?
We had Guyton and
Rouse.
Is that it?
So we've had a total of 4
Is that
in
right?
the last 2 seasons, in the last 2 drafts. Is that right?
I guess. It doesn't seem right, but I think it is.
It doesn't make me feel, I feel like we're missing one. It feels like we're missing one guy. Who is it?
Mims was before that. That wasn't that
Correct.
year.
That was before that. Jonah Laulu, 7th round.
There we go. Okay.
So, yes, we have had 5 draft picks total in the last 2 drafts. Looking back at the 2023 draft, the Sooners had 5 picks in the 2023 draft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, you got to go all the way back to 2022 when you're anywhere near 8. That was Benito, Asamoah, Perrion, DTY, Michael Woods, Isaiah Thomas, and Marquise Hayes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that was 7 back in 2022. So 8 would be quite the jump from 2 this year.
Yeah,
but let's talk through it. Let's talk through it.
I think 8 is at the far end of the curve, but I mean, here's the thing. When you win football games, guys get drafted. I mean, that's how it goes. Everyone kind of gets viewed through a different lens. When you don't win football games, guys don't get drafted. It's a lot harder. So I think like if you're going to get to 8, yeah, Mateer has to go. Right? Has to
Why?
has to play a great year, good enough to where he's going to be a top 3 or 4 quarterback and potential to go in the first round.
So let's start on the offensive side of the ball. If we're trying to realistically get to 8 draft picks for the 2025 Oklahoma Sooners, Mateer,
Ott are your first 2 guys. They have the best chance. Ott was previously looked at as the number 1 running back coming out in 03, so or 23.
How about this? Mateer, are we sure Burks isn't your second guy in the conversation if he plays to his ceiling? With how wide receiver is valued now compared to running back?
Yeah, the only reason I put Ott ahead of him is because after the 23 year, he was looked at as if he has that year again, he's going to be one of the first running backs taken. Obviously, he didn't. So I think I just say that he's already been on people's radar, but I have no problem putting Burks ahead of him.
I think the most obvious 3 on offense would be Mateer, Ott, and Burks.
Let me ask you about Giovanni Gibson.
Okay, you ask and then I'll answer. I feel like I know your question, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying if Giovanni Gibson comes back, is healthy, and
if Giovanni Gibson looks the way and plays the way that he did when we went out to spring practice, he is an NFL wide receiver. He is a draft pick. There is zero doubt about it.
Right.
Now, guy snapped his leg in half. Not great.
Yes.
But
and we got to see it. We got to see it on the field. But we're trying to get to 8 is the exercise here.
Yes,
and
if he gets back to form, I undoubtedly think he's an NFL player. Would like to hold on to him for another season, though, Ted.
Yeah.
If I'm being selfish, totally, but if the offense comes out and plays at a very high level, Mateer, Burks, Ott, and I think Gibson may be ahead of Burks in that conversation because of the size.
Yeah. What about anyone on the offensive line?
There's so many young guys.
Yeah.
That's where it's an interesting conversation. When you think about guys that started the season late last year, like I guess technically if Logan Howland had an incredible year, he could come out. Same for Heath Ozida. That would surprise me if that happens, but it would be a very good sign if one of those guys is like, I'm declaring after my redshirt sophomore year. That means they went out and played lights out.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that. Do I see that happening? No, but
I put all the other ones I would put as a much higher likelihood currently.
Yeah, I think when you look at the offensive linemen that you would kind of view as draft eligible guys, Fabechi Wiwu's probably at the top of the list.
What do you think? Late is he have the potential to be a late rounder, or
I think if he can cut it loose and play fast, yeah, he can play in the NFL. I think he's a center in the NFL.
Okay.
I think that would be his best position in the NFL. And from every conversation I've ever had with him and when I've talked to Beanbo about him, like he sounds like he's a guy that can handle all of that stuff mentally.
I think they tried it a little bit in the spring just to give him a couple of looks there in case.
I think that was before they landed Michaela.
Correct.
So I would assume maybe they do some of that. Maybe you get some snaps at center in training camp just in like a break glass in case of emergency situation.
Right.
But when you've got Troy Everett and you've got Jake Michaela, you're probably feeling good about those two guys handling the center spot. And then Fabechi may need to just worry about keeping Foje behind him. You know what I'm saying?
No kidding.
But I guess if it all comes together for him, which we have not seen up to this point, like Jacob Sexton has the characteristics of an NFL offensive lineman.
He does. He's got the size. He's got the quickness.
I've said it many times. You walk out there, you look at the group as a whole right now. Currently, he looks the best physically.
Yep.
You go 76. That's what it looks like. If he can put it all together, he can be a draft pick, but we haven't quite seen him put it all together. I don't know if he's going to be a tackle or a guard for this team. I don't even know if he's going to be a starter.
Right.
Which is a good thing because of just how good Fasusi has looked.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I don't think you can come out and say, hey, this offensive line has a no doubt draft pick right now. I think in a weird way, like Jake Michaela, if he can come out and play at a high level, like he's got really good size and length for his position at center. He's got to get bigger and stronger. He's got to add mass. And if he can do that and hold his own in the SEC, he moves like an NFL lineman.
Yeah.
But once again, I say it a lot. I like athletic linemen. That's the type of guy I like.
We have 4 guys that you feel like are going to get drafted to the NFL. Is it this season? I don't know. In Giovanni Gibson, in Jaden Ott, in John Mateer, and in Deion Burks. You agree? And then some potentials at offensive line.
Derek Simmons at right tackle, like he held down the right tackle spot all of spring ball. You got to see him go do it against SEC competition. But if he goes out there and plays at a high level, if you go out and play at a high level week after week after week at tackle in the SEC, you've got the measurables. Usually you get drafted.
Yeah, and a lot of these things are tied together. Like if Mateer plays himself into a position to leave and go to the draft, well, then that probably bodes really well for a Giovanni Gibson, a Deion Burks, really anyone on the offense, including the offensive line. So I don't know.
A dark horse would be Isaiah Satania. I was very impressed with him the times I went out to spring practice. I know he got banged up late, but you know as well as I do, man, the league values speed.
Yeah.
And he's got speed. So if he can come out and produce at a relatively high level, he's one of those guys, maybe you goes to the combine, runs a really good time. We're really deep in this conversation. Like we're down in it, buddy.
We'll have a good connection to the Senior Bowl to get guys to the Senior Bowl.
Very good point.
What about defense? Like, I think like our Mason Thomas, assuming he has a healthy year, he's going to be drafted. How high? I don't know, but I think he'll be drafted. Do you agree with that?
Completely agree. He doesn't have the ideal measurables for an edge player, but I talk to guys that do like the NFL mock draft stuff for a living. It's their job for major publications. And they were just watching some stuff late just in case he declared. And I had multiple guys tell me he would have gone top 100 if he would have come out.
Yeah. So I think he's a lock to get drafted as long as he stays healthy and everything. I think Kendall Daniels is a lock to get drafted.
If he plays well, like if you go watch his 2024 tape, he's not a draft pick. But there was a lot going on at Oklahoma State last season. If he comes and does what he did during spring ball and continues to impress the staff and is a guy that shows he can play that nickel spot and inside backer at that size, like there's no doubt, man.
Well, and I would even venture to say if I'm in the scouting department and we're in the 6th and 7th round and there happens to be a guy that's 6'5", 240 pounds and runs a 4.4, I don't care if he played good or not. We're going to try it. You know, we're going to see.
Let's see how it goes.
We're going to see how it goes. what about Grayson Holton, Dom Williams? I mean, I feel like Grayson, because of his motor, I think he has a good chance because I think he'll have some production to be a late round guy, um, with a lot of upside, depending on what like ultimately what his height and weight looks like come like combine, pro day, draft time. If he can get to where he's over 3 bills, that would help him a lot.
I've been these last couple weeks, Ted, guess what I've been doing late at night as I'm winding down to go to sleep?
Building a spreadsheet of height and weight of defensive linemen in the NFL.
That was a good guess. But no, I've been watching the defensive film from last season,
Okay.
which during the season, I let you handle that, big guy. That's your lane. I do the offense, you the defense.
There's a lot on the plate, right?
And it makes a beautiful partnership. But I've been going back and watching, and without a doubt, watching that tape from a season ago through the lens of an offensive lineman, Grayson Halton was our best interior guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's who you're worried about when it comes to, hey, this guy can make a big play.
He's explosive. He's got to get off.
And you just see it each and every game where you go, whoa, okay. You see it. And dude, if he would just get a little bigger, man, but he's got the power and explosiveness that NFL teams are looking for. But we'll see. He needs to be more productive. And that comes with being more consistent.
Yep.
Because more than any other guy, and that includes Jaden Jackson, I expect Jaden Jackson to get better and better and better. But if you go through and watch the entire season, like Grayson Halton has the most flashes of any interior defensive lineman we had.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. I agree.
So we'll see. But I think when you're talking about the defensive side of the ball and guys that have the potential to get drafted, I'm not sure that Robert Spears Jennings in like at the top of the list because of the size and the build. It's a traits league, man. And you walk out and you go, yeah, that's a good looking safety.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would say that if you have a good year and you do what we think is possible on offense and do what we think is possible on defense, then I mean 8 is high, but it's not unattainable.
Dolby, if he gets back to what he was a year ago, that guy's an NFL player.
Yep.
Dominic Williams doesn't have the length you're looking for. I don't know, man. He's strong.
He's
got to be a better pass rusher.
Better pass rusher. I guess I'm just wondering what role he because he doesn't play, at least so far, doesn't play like a 3 technique that you see in the league. A lot of 2-gap stuff and a lot of kind of at the line of scrimmage, playing laterally. And a lot of that, it's not necessarily on him. We do that a bunch with our defensive line where one guy kind of sifts in, the other guy overlaps over the top, some twist stuff. You don't see a whole lot of that in the NFL. So he's going to have to show something when he gets an opportunity in pass rush downs.
I don't think either of the starting inside backers are come out early guys. You never know.
I would agree.
But one of the guys that, if he would just stay healthy, would be probably at the very top of the list on defense is Gentry Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the injury history there, and it's just a lot of uncertainty with what that looks like, with how big of a problem that shoulder has been.
And like kind of another wild card. And oddly, for whatever reason, I didn't see a whole lot of him in the spring, but Marvin Jones Jr., because he's got some good size and measurables. If he finds a role and has production getting to the quarterback, I would say that he's got a pedigree and he's got size and traits, but he's going to need a productive year.
Can I give you the ultimate wild card?
Yeah.
Ben Anderson, the long snapper.
That may not be a wild card.
I don't want to jinx the young man, but when's the last time we've talked about the snap?
Never. And he is big and he's pretty athletic.
Dude, he is. You see him on the sideline, you're like, dang, dude, that's a big
dude.
long snapper.
Yep.
So hey, maybe we sneak a long snapper draft pick, and there's only a couple of them. Weirder things have happened, Ted.
So 8, the question is there a world where we have 8 draft picks next year? Yes, there is. But I mean, it's hard to bank on anything like that at this moment because we are purely in guessing mode for what translates to fall from spring.
That was a pretty thorough dive into that question. We need to pick up the pace if we're going to get through a couple.
That was a good one, though.
This next one comes from @Rights4Plants. Sure. We all love plants, right? Mm-hmm. He says, imagine at the end of the season, OU has 10 plus wins, and you had to pick one position group to credit. Quote, we beat expectations because our blank played better than anyone expected. How would you fill in the blank?
It's the easiest question. It's offensive line. For me, I think that because it affects every single player. It affects the quarterback. It affects the running game. It affects the passing game. I think it's offensive line, and it's really not that close.
You know that's going to be my answer. I mean, we serious?
I think that's it.
I guess if I had to zag, I'd say the defensive line. And I think we're expecting our defensive line to be really, really good.
Yeah.
But if that group goes out and all of a sudden is playing at an extremely high level to where you're saying, hey, we arguably have the best defensive line in the SEC. If you arguably have the best defensive line in the SEC, then you arguably have the best defensive line in the country.
Yep. If you have the best defensive line in the SEC, you arguably have the best team in the SEC.
Right. So if you've got a defensive line that is taking care of everything, it makes everything very easy defensively. And if you're playing elite defense, you always got a chance in the game.
And I would say that I like the position we're in right now for both of those groups to perhaps go above and beyond what's expected.
I very much expect the offensive line to exceed like the national expectations for them, because everyone is just and I'm not trying to defend what happened on the offensive line last year, but people aren't very nice about what happened along the O-line last season for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be. Wasn't great, but I think there's a lot of people out there that still think OU's offensive line is going to really, really struggle. And you and I, we expect them to be much better.
The baseline right now is already so much higher than it was this time last year. They couldn't even practice in spring hardly, and we were waiting on a bunch of guys to get healthy, and it just never happened. And the guys that were healthy weren't healthy very long and played hurt all season. It was about as bad of a mix as you could have. And I think we're currently, knock on wood, healthier, deeper. I think we're vastly more talented than we were a year ago. So everything is looking in the right direction.
And you've got the two most talented freshmen that we've had around here in a very long time in Fasusi and Foje.
Yep.
And I expect those guys to be in the mix in some form or fashion. So got a group, you've got some guys that kind of got baptized by fire last year, got thrown in. Maybe we're playing a little earlier than they should and got better. You've got some young guys that, they're going to want to be on the field, and you've got all these guys pushing each other. You've got the Everett and Michael competition that's going to happen at center. Like, got to be some competition for those spots, and I expect that competition to raise the level of the group pretty significantly.
And you'll have depth that has played football in the SEC. You know, whether or not, like, I don't know who's ultimately going to be the starting five, and hopefully it's a spot where Bill can pick his best five, which he was never able to do last year. It was just give me five guys that can play. So, you know, I think that there's depth. I mean, Ozida, Howland, those guys that are going to be coming back from offseason surgeries. You know, Sexton played, and Simmons has, you know, he's played some football. So you just currently you look a lot better.
Let's get one more in here.
Okay.
We spent so much time on the draft question.
Yeah.
This one comes from at Red Dirt Sooner. If you had to guess right now, I said had like that because it's in all caps. If you had to guess right now, who would be our starting front four on defense and our starting front five on offense for the Alabama game toward the end of the year? Alabama game is November 15th in Tuscaloosa, Ted, which that is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for that trip. Hopefully it feels like there's a lot on the line in that one.
Yeah.
You want to start on defense?
Yeah. R. Mason Thomas.
That's the obvious one, correct?
Jaden Jackson.
Feel pretty confident about those two.
I think I would go Grayson Holton.
Okay, I like it.
What do you think?
I think the conversation for that second interior spot is Halton, Williams, Stone.
I mean, in a perfect world, I guess if I'm saying like in a perfect world, R. Mason Thomas, Jaden Jackson, and then if David Stone has played himself into that spot, I would be. I mean, he's just a different. Like I like Grayson Halton because he brings something a little bit different than the rest of the guys. But I would say probably it's Stone or Grayson Halton, and then at the other defensive end spot, I hope it's PJ. And he's going to have a good training camp, a healthy training camp, continue to stack good reps, because I would say like right now, today, we've talked about it, kind of feels like Taylor Wine.
I think if I just had to remember, we're just guessing. I'll just take the guys that I saw starting out in spring ball. And now Jaden Jackson didn't go through spring. I'm assuming he's going to come back, get stronger, get more explosive, and be even better than what we saw a year ago. Like, I think that's a very fair thing to assume.
Because he had that shoulder brace on for a long time last year.
And he was still pretty good.
Right.
So Dominic Williams, every time I went out to practice, he was starting.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Williams, Jaden Jackson, R. Mason Thomas, and Taylor Wine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what I saw over and over again.
And I'll say this again, just kind of like on the offensive line. It's good that we're not necessarily sure, because I think any of these combinations of guys has a chance to be pretty dadgum good.
Well, I think at this point, like in a perfect world, it would be R. Mason Thomas, David Stone, Jaden Jackson, and Danny Okoye. That's like my perfect world scenario, because then all of a sudden if everything has come together for Okoye, all of a sudden you got two dudes that can absolutely bring it off the edge.
Yeah.
Now, are you maybe giving up a little bit at the point of attack against the run? Maybe. But remember, in this hypothetical, it's all come together.
Right. So again, the good thing is there's depth and there's competition. And ultimately on the defensive line, you're going to have your starters, but I expect that they're going to have a probably a 6-man rotation on the interior. And I think
you're throwing Marcus Strong in there.
throwing Marcus Strong in there. And I think that's what you want on the interior. And you can spread the reps out between those guys fairly evenly. Your starters will have a little bit higher of a percentage, but it will more likely be their percentage of snaps will be in the more critical areas to start drives and to finish drives. So, but I think that we're going to have a fairly deep rotation. Did you see that picture the D line took and how big Marcus Strong looked?
He's a big dude, man.
Huge.
He is big. Like
yep.
But he's always been big, and the technique is finally starting to come around. And that's why you talk to the coaching staff, like he always comes up in every conversation about guys that had good spring.
Yep.
Because he started to put it together. Our man Red Dirt Sooner did. He also asked for O-line prediction.
Yeah.
Bama game. Remember this late in the year. I'm not scared to say like Fasusi at left tackle.
Okay.
He's the most talented guy in the room. My hope is that has a great summer, gets the beak wet early in the season, gets better and better. Going to be some growing pains, but he's your guy.
I'm with you. I absolutely hope that is the case.
Left guard's interesting. I think Ozider or Sexton at left guard. Because I think if Fasusi is the guy at left tackle, then all of a sudden you probably bump Sexton in and you make Sexton and Ozider battle it out.
Yeah.
I guess you got to pick one. You want to pick one, Ted?
Pick one.
Ozider? But I don't know. You missed the entire spring. I don't like. My assumption is he's going to get stronger and more explosive and play at a higher level, but I don't know. I do think no matter how it shakes out, it would benefit Sexton a lot to just focus on one position.
Yeah.
I think I think moving him around as much as he did, I don't think it helped him in any way a season ago.
Did he play right any?
Yeah, he's played right. He can play right tackle.
What are the like if Fasusi takes over at left? What are the chances? How do you see him and Simmons?
Let him battle it out, man. I don't care.
Yeah,
don't care at all. Now Sexton played left tackle every time I went out this spring.
Yeah.
So maybe he's more comfortable on the left side, which maybe makes it more sense to just bump him into guard. But it's not like Ozida's just going to give up that spot. And some people may say, hey, wasn't Eddie Pierre-Louis the starting left guard during spring ball? Yeah, I think Eddie still needs some more seasoning.
He's still a little light.
He's a little light, and the technique is just like he's got to learn to bend, man. If you can't bend at this level, you're going to get in a lot of bad spots. Love the attitude, but the technique he's got to have a big summer when it comes to technique development. Center may be the most interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt Michaela, if he can gain a little weight, like he has the measurables you're looking for over Everett at that position.
The length in this conference is critical on the interior. The guys are so big and so strong. A lot of long arm guys in there. It is hard to win those battles if you're just outgunned on all those matchups.
So do you want to pencil in Michael or Everett? Everett's also kind of like the leader of the group, so it's hard to weigh that for me. Because he's the vocal leader of the group.
And it's hard to pencil in a guy that hadn't taken a rep on the team yet,
Let's
and
go ahead and put Everett in there. Then
yeah.
why not? I and then on the right side, Wee Woo and Simmons, just knowing that Foje's lurking.
He he's lurking and he's going to be playing. That guy,
He will if he's
in
healthy.
spring, he was probably a little more ready to play than Fasusi, right?
Yeah, I think that's
Just
fair
because
to say.
he's so damn big.
I would be shocked if Fasusi and Foje, remember this conversation is about the Alabama game on November 15th.
Right.
I would be shocked if both of those guys are healthy and not like I'd be shocked if they're not playing significant snaps in that game. Like first half snaps.
Yeah.
I'd be very, very surprised with just how good they look physically and how much potential those guys have. Like you have to get guys like that on the field, especially in an atmosphere like Tuscaloosa, which I've never experienced, but you have.
Been a long time. Been a long time.
I don't know if we really just had decided on anything offensive line wise, but
we've got it down to like 8 or 9 guys.
perfect. I think in an ideal world, it's Fasusi, Ozida. I guess you got it. Ideal, you'd go Michael at center because of the length.
Well, I'll tell in my ideal world, you got Fasusi at left tackle, you got Sexton at left guard, you got Fabechi at center, you got Foje at right guard, and you got Simmons at right tackle. That's my ideal world.
Just gigantic people.
Gigantic. Yep.
It's not like Ozida is exactly a small dude.
No, he's not. He's
so I, but yeah, your size and length. But yeah, I think in an ideal world, you've got Fasusi and Foje starting at that point in the season. Like that means they've gotten a lot better.
As long like in an ideal world, starting on merit, not because of injury and stuff like that. But yes, I agree.
I thought Wee Woo was our best offensive lineman a year ago. I think it's going to be tough for Foje just completely take that job from him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That was a lot of OU stuff.
Good OU stuff.
Good
questions.
Now let's talk about some Thunder, baby.
Yeah.
But first, hitting the highway, remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway. And with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
You listen to this podcast to get insight from the guys who played the game. Why don't you take that same approach when it comes to buying your beef? When you order from Didier Ranch, you are getting your beef directly from the people who raise it. A rancher knows what it takes to have premium quality beef. Didier Ranch has done it for over 100 years right here in Oklahoma. From delicious 21-day dry-aged ribeyes to savory steak burgers, there is no better place to get your beef. Get your beef from the guys who've done it and use code Oklahoma15 for 15% off on DidierRanch.com. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Vacation season is almost here, and the new Simple Modern Getaway Bag is the perfect companion for every summer adventure. Whether packing for a beach trip, a weekend getaway, or a long road trip, the Getaway Bag's durable rubber sides makes it easy to carry everything you need and just as easy to rinse clean after a day of sand, sun, and fun. It's built to handle it all and go everywhere you want to go this summer. Plus, with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. All right, time for some football, guys. Talking basketball, FGTB, and they have done it. They have done it, Ted. The Oklahoma City Thunder have advanced to the Western Conference Finals, and three best words in sports, baby. Game 7, win. That was
Yep.
awesome.
It was awesome. Um, it's more comfortable to have some nerves early and no nerves late, though, isn't it?
I was losing my mind. They they were so tight early. Like you were just watching it. They couldn't hit a shot. Just kind of looked nervous and frantic, and the Nuggets looked super calm, like a group that had played in a lot of game sevens. And it was just one of those situations in the first quarter where you go, this cannot be happening. They're down double digits. What is happening? And then once they got it, I think it was 5 at the end of the first quarter. With how bad they had played to only be down 5, I was like, all right, we're going to win this game. We're going to win it by a lot. I even text my brothers. I was like, we're going to win by 30. But that first quarter was awful. And everyone in the building was just freaking out. Like the fans were trying to will the team to play better. It was like a cheer, but like an angry cheer. It's hard to describe.
Well, yeah, what they get, was it like a 13, 14 point run that they went on? Was it late first, early second quarter that I think they jumped back and took the lead?
Yeah, things really stabilized at the end of the first.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, everyone take a deep breath. And then they really got things together. Everything kind of calmed down in the second quarter. And the close to the second quarter was when they really took control, right? They were just turning, they were forcing so many turnovers in that stretch, got buckets and transition. The crowd was going absolutely insane. And you look up, and even though they had the atrocious start, it was like, oh, we're up by 14 at halftime. The Nuggets pretty much had 4 players. It was like, okay, yeah, we're good here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the legs had started to catch up to Denver. I mean, probably in game 5, 6, and 7, but adrenaline can carry you through, especially being at home. But once the floodgates opened, they just didn't have the capacity to reel it back in. So it was awesome. And the defense was just incredible. Even my man Caruso holding down the 7-footer.
That was awesome. I feel like we're an extremely loyal fan base, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just think, game 1, we gave Westbrook a standing ovation. Now I didn't even clap. I was like, no, I'm cheering for the current squad. Love you, Russ, but sorry, no. But Alex Caruso has come in and so quickly, like, just this city has fallen in love with that man.
Effort, energy plays, selling out, bringing a spark off the bench. That's always a great way to get the crowd going, man.
He's also in the playoffs, like, he has not been afraid to take big shots either.
Yeah.
Like it's like he wants to take the shots. And I think you can, in a weird way, as a fan, like you can feel his confidence watching him. I know that may sound strange, but you're like, that dude is out there to mess stuff up and take big shots. Like that's just.
I mean, just watching him, it was a little bit. It was a different thing for Jokic to have to deal with, just the hands, right? Usually with bigger guys, it's more like body position and leaning on everyone. But when Caruso ended up being matched up on him, it was just the hands flashing all over the place, ripping, slapping at the ball, was a massive nuisance.
He was awesome, dude. And the best part, I don't know if you can see this all the time on TV. Like when he makes a big play, like he looks to the crowd and he's like, come on, let me hear it. It like even does like a little Hulk Hogan, like, come on, let's hear it. And it really does, dude, it gets the place going. Like I don't know how else to say it, but like the dude just gets it, man. I feel like he understands us.
He gets the people going. Love it. Yeah, He's the energy, man. He's the spark. I mean, in some ways, you could say he's been their best player. Just with the constant, like when we need it, and just kind of been Johnny on the spot for big plays and steals and transition plays, passes. Hitting big shots whenever we need them. I mean, volume wise, it may be difficult to make that claim, but whenever you watch the game and kind of just feel the flow and how the energy levels move whenever he's in, it's crazy. What did he ended up like plus 40 in the game?
That's good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I think the argument can be clearly Shea's our best player, right?
Yep.
No one's going to argue that. He's about to be the MVP of the league. Can you give the guy his MVP now? My gosh, what has taken so long?
No doubt. It's wild.
Got to be before the game on Tuesday, right?
Is this the standard timeline?
No, it feels very late.
I feel like it was always like the first series or two.
Maybe both organizations were like,
series.
don't hand it out during this series because it's between those two guys. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah, maybe so.
Which, okay, we advanced. Shea's going to win it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to throw a party on Tuesday night.
The guy that didn't advance or something. I don't know.
I don't know. But I think while Shea is clearly our best player, I think the argument can be made that Caruso was our most valuable player in that series.
Yeah.
With everything he did and just got, like you mentioned, the energy shifts he caused in some of these games. The dude is a maniac, bro. It's awesome.
He is. And he does all of the things that I mean, he does everything, I guess, honestly. And the value with that coming off the bench is just, it's awesome.
I was thrilled that Jalen Williams played well. He did not play well in game 6, and my goodness, did a lot of people let him know about it. But I had a ton of confidence that guy was going to bounce back in a big way on home court, and he swung the game in the second quarter with the flurry of offense. And I was so happy for him, and he was just screaming. It was like the place was going crazy, like just trying to build him up and lift him up, like as he was doing. It was just really cool to witness, and I'm hoping that was the moment he needed to take that next step.
Yep.
Because he's capable of it, man. He's absolutely capable of being that big time second scorer next to Shea. It's what he was all season, but like you're judged by what you do in the playoffs, man. And he can do it. And he was really, really good in game 7. And I expect him to be, he's going to be a huge factor in the Timberwolves series because they've got several guys they can throw at Shea.
Yeah.
So his scoring is going to be a huge part of whether or not this team goes to the finals or not.
I thought in that second quarter, whenever the Thunder took control and then extended it in the third, I thought just how aggressive he was. And a lot of it was transition, just pressing it, getting to the rim, layups, trying to put guys on his back and go up and get and ones. It was fun to see, man. I don't know. There's something about him that he looks like he grows length as he gets to the rim. It's like all of a sudden the ball becomes unblockable. It's cool to watch.
I was very happy that Shea went 3 or 4 from 3. Couple step back threes, look smooth, look good. Hoping be awfully nice if that could carry into the Western Conference Finals. Also, that picture of him smiling, that clip of him smiling coming off the court from game 3 after they lost that game. I'm so glad that's not going to be something that people go back to in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Like if they would have lost this series, it never would have died, Ted.
Yeah.
So very glad that that's not a thing. That's good. And then the last thing on this game 7, I have all the respect in the world for Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Dude, he played a ton with a torn hamstring, Ted. That was insane. The guy could barely move, and he somehow was still like impacting the game. I don't know why the Thunder didn't just go at him over and over and over again. I don't know ball though, so maybe I'm missing something. But all the respect in the world for that guy. He was, I mean, he should not have been playing, and he went out there and gave it everything he had. It was honestly kind of crazy that he did that.
Yeah, it is. And he's
But
grown into a really well-rounded player. Early in the career was just a bounce guy that, could fly, was athletic, but he's developed that three-point shot. He can do some stuff on both ends of the floor for him. So, no, you're right. And it's not easy to. I mean, what is it? They go like 5-6 miles or something during a game, and to do that on a hammy is brutal.
Thunder Timberwolves, game one Tuesday night, got home court. T Wolves have a little more rest. Feel like these two teams match up really well.
Yeah,
Should be fun, man. Instant, and you can always change your mind as this thing goes, but like your gut feeling on how this thing goes. What do you think?
7.
Thunder in seven?
Thunder and 7. I have been shocked at. I mean, they have just kind of quietly, smashed their way through the playoffs, and most people have them losing to the Lakers in the first round. And they got a guy that can go off at any moment scoring, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but their length worries me.
It should worry you. When you think about McDaniels, you think about Alexander Walker. I mean, Anthony Edwards there's going to be moments where Anthony Edwards is like, I'm guarding Shea.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for that. That's going to be so fun. But yeah, the one guy that worries me the most? Julius Randle.
I've slowly kind of
I did
started to
not think
really like his game.
I did not think I'd be saying that, but he's so big and strong and
He's like
skilled.
turned into the old man strength guy, and I don't, for whatever reason, I still picture him as
Like,
young, but
like who's going to guard him? Chet? That doesn't seem like a good matchup. Hartenstein? Like he's going to pull Hartenstein away from the basket if that's the case, and he's going to think he can take him. I don't know, but this is going to be a very, very interesting series.
yeah, yeah. I
I
think
wish I was more confident, but the
yeah,
Timberwolves are playing good ball. I'm going to say Thunder in 6.
Thunder in 6.
And I hate it. Thunder
Yeah.
in 7 feels like a smarter pick. I feel like you've done the better job here, but
It's a strange thing. Like I could see the Thunder maybe maybe the MVP gets presented and they got past Denver. And I would say that even through their first two series, they haven't played a whole bunch of long stretches of their best ball.
no.
So I guess like in a perfect world, if maybe some of the pressure is off and they're shooting the three a little bit better, they're playing their best game. I mean, I think that they could this could be a series that maybe surprises the other direction, but I just at this point I can't put that out as a prediction because I just haven't seen it yet for whatever reason.
This is going to sound very obvious, but the Thunder are going to have to shoot the three well.
Yeah.
Say what you want, whatever you want about Rudy Gobert. That dude protects the rim.
Yes, he does.
They're going to have to shoot it well. And I forget which podcast was talking about it, but like the Timberwolves played more zone. Like they played very little zone throughout the season, except for against the Thunder. It's like when they accumulated the vast majority of their zone possessions. And we just saw there were times where Denver's in that zone and the Thunder had problems solving it.
They're licking their lips right now. Then I mean, it's
I hope they
until
are.
we start hitting the three and being able to just make them pay with the outside shot, you're probably going to see a lot of it, right?
You've got Thunder in 7. I've got Thunder in 6. I feel good about it.
Feel good about it. It's going to be awesome though. I can't wait. What Eastern Conference?
I'm taking the Pacers. I Am I crazy?
No. I think it is. I think it's the most reasonable pick, but Jalen Brunson, he's just I it probably never looks like matchup wise, it probably never looks all that great for him, but he just keeps getting it done, man. I I'm picking the Knicks only because I think that would be the coolest series, but
Thunder Knicks. Oh yeah, if that's what we're picking, it's not even. I mean, come on. But I don't know, man. The
no,
Pacers have been really
Pacers.
good.
Halliburton's on one right now.
Wonder if they're going to let his dad come back.
If they need to flip things around, perhaps
They need to change the mojo. Let Mr. Halliburton back in the building.
go out there after a win in New York, go out there and get in um, Jalen Brunson's face or something.
I feel like that would go differently in New York than it did.
Probably so.
Just, I think that's a pretty safe assumption.
Probably so.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. Back in the Western Conference Finals. Been a
Gotta
while,
love
dude.
it. Gotta love it. Content, baby.
Let's talk a little softball. It's that time of the year. Football guys talking softball. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days. And head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all the garage locations being open at 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go-to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
well, FGTS, not a lot to talk about. Sooners kind of just destroyed everyone in the regional.
Yeah, they are. The postseason gene survives up there in the softball facility.
They go 3-0. Now, game 1 was just a bloodbath. I was there for that one. Boston University, just first of all, great atmosphere at Loves Field. Great atmosphere for that game. Sam Landry, very solid. There was there was a pretty significant stretch of the game where I felt like OU could have just not swung the bat and they would have scored like 10 straight runs because Boston went through a couple pitchers that just could not find the zone. Ted couldn't find it.
Hard to. It's when those. That's the struggle is real. Whenever you've got that crowd, you're walking people. That's not a good feeling. I'm sure that's the most people they've played in front of by multiples of 10 probably this year.
They brought in a lefty And I'm not kidding you. As she got in the circle and was throwing her warm-up pitches, she did not throw a single ball over the plate. And then she got in the circle and did not throw like a single ball over the plate.
Struggle continues.
It was so bad in the warm-up that like the group of people around us, we all were talking about like, is she okay?
Uh-oh.
Like, is everything all
Uh-oh.
right? And she wasn't missing, like she was missing by several feet. It was like, oh, this is not gonna go well for her. It was really strange to watch. But I've got a question for you regarding game one.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Hicks hits the walk-off run rule home run.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, man. It's not as exhilarating as a true walk-off home run, like in the last inning of a game.
Right.
It doesn't feel like that, but it's still pretty awesome. Like I was thinking about it as I watched it sail over the fence. I was like, is there anything else in sports like this? The walk-off run rule home run in softball?
No.
There's a mercy rule in college baseball.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just take those two. Like I was trying to think of like a football comparison to it, and I couldn't come up with. I thought about it for the entire drive home. Now I kept my thoughts to myself, but I was
I
just
don't, I,
thinking like,
I don't think there is.
is there any
It's
equivalent
unique.
in basketball or football to the walk-off run rule home run?
I don't think so. And it's also interesting because I think it happened even earlier this year, and I know it's happened in the past that whenever you have a run rule no hitter, I I think it goes into the books as a no hitter, but you didn't pitch the full game. You know what I'm saying? That it makes for some unique situations.
It's just an interesting thought exercise. If anyone out there listening can come up with another sports comparison that feels similar to the walk-off run rule home run, because it's very exciting because it ends the game, but you're like already winning by a lot. So it's I don't know, it's a very weird thing.
Is it like the you recover the onside kick? There's still time on the clock, but it's kind of the official ending to the game, although it's not technically over.
You recover an onside kick and you're up by 4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
Yes. I guess that doesn't really matter at that point.
You know what
But
I mean? Like
yeah,
that's where it's
I don't
like you're
know.
throttling them and then the game's over.
It's interesting.
I hadn't really thought about it until I this literally this thought this question came into my brain as that ball was sailing over the fence and I was cheering. I was like, I just kind of feel weird. I did, like it's a weird feeling.
We Football should start celebrating the agreed second half running clock like it's a walk-off home run for a run rule.
I like that.
Kind of the same thing.
I
That's college football's mercy rule, I
I
think.
I don't think there's a football equivalent.
No.
I was thinking about it for a while. I will say game 2, their first game against Cal, it it was a run rule game in 5 innings, and it may sound weird, but it did not feel like an 11-2 run rule game.
Yeah.
Sam Landry got out of she did not have her best stuff in that game by any means, and she got out a couple of dangerous jams, or else that thing would have been pretty competitive. But luckily, Cassidy Pickering is just a stud.
Yeah. They're the bats are coming alive at the right time. With Pickering and Gabby Garcia just continues to hit absolute tanks.
She does. I also, in the second inning of that first Cal game, they played like a little small ball. They just singled them to death. I kind of like seeing that too.
Yeah.
Little variation, little deviation from just hitting nukes over the fence.
You got to be able to have multiple ways to move runners around the diamond, and it hasn't been something that they've really had to do a whole lot in recent years, just because of like the incredible power throughout the lineup, but to have that in your back pocket is nice.
The third game, just another beatdown of the Cal Bears. They came back for more.
That
I heard there was a little controversy before the game, crowd booing Cal.
is that I didn't see that. What happened?
I I was not there, but I was told by multiple people there that they kneeled during the national anthem
Oh, okay.
and that was not very popular among the Sooner faithful. As I mean, come on.
That's
And
interesting. I honestly I haven't seen that in a while.
it's been a while, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I was still playing in the NFL when that started. It's been a
Yeah,
while, dude.
been a while. Yeah. Okay.
So I maybe I'm sure if I did some quick research, maybe they've answered some questions about it, and there's I don't know, but I'm told it did
They
not
didn't
go
do
over
it,
well.
and they didn't do it in any of their other games.
I hadn't. Don't you think we would have heard about it?
Yeah, perhaps. Interesting. Huh.
And
Okay.
then they got beat 12-1, and Ella Parker hit a softball about as far as I've ever seen a softball go.
What was
Thing went
the?
out of the stadium, Ted.
I saw the or maybe I mixed it up. I thought it was Gabby Garcia that hit the 285 footer that was just to
That was
right
Ella
center.
Parker, just
Ella Parker.
smoked.
That ball was awesome.
Gabby Garcia. That was in the second inning when she blasted one.
Gotcha.
I think Parker's was in the fourth, and that was right after Pickering had blasted one. And then Parker came back up. I think it was the same inning and almost hit a grand slam. Or maybe it was Cooper and Parker. I thought we're both going to hit grand slams, and it would have been like 15-1.
Well, it's my fault, but during this game, I was involved in some high level tournament baseball about 600 or 700 feet away from Love's Field over at the Norman Baseball Parks. So we were really focused on what was going on there. I mean, it was intense for 10-year-old baseball, Gabe.
How'd the weekend go?
Second place, rings for second place.
How's that make you feel?
Oh, I
Does
told
the
my
ring
son,
say second place on it?
I don't even think, I'm not sure. I didn't get that close of a look at it, but I did tell my son that it'll make for a perfect a weight to tie onto the fishing line, trying to get the bait down to the bottom of the pond.
So you made it clear that, yeah, participation rings, not in the Lehman household.
It was a joke told to where I think there was enough spice on it to where he got the feeling that it was true, but he can still enjoy his ring. One of those.
One of those things where you say it, your wife looks at you, it's just like, what? Come on.
What are we doing? No, but it was awesome. There was a huge crowd there. I mean, they were out tailgating beforehand. It looked like a lot of fun.
Alabama coming to Norman for the Super Regional.
I can't wait. Did you watch the Texas A&M situation with Liberty?
Yeah.
They end up winning the second game. They were up like I think 3-0 or 4-0, but the worst call I've ever seen in my life went against Liberty.
They, not to interrupt. Well, I guess I'm not going to apologize. I just interrupted you. Sorry. Currently, bottom of the seventh, one out. Liberty leads 6-5.
Ooh. Well,
See, if this is one of those things where if we've never done this podcast live, be like, all right, we're gonna watch this. We'll react to
it. Yeah, that was they got a call interference and end up getting a couple runs out of it, or at least one, maybe just one run, but it was the worst call. They went and reviewed it. It was so freaking bad. The people that were announcing, they replayed it over and over. They're like, no, there's no interference here. We're good. There's Clearly no interference. And sure enough, what do they say? Interference. Runner stays on board, and next hitter put one into the outfield, scored a run.
I've got it pulled up.
Okay.
So we'll keep eyes on it.
All right. I like it.
But hey, OU Bama, that's
going to be big.
That's a big time matchup in a super regional. Remember, went and played a series against them in Tuscaloosa. Really, really good game one. And then game two, Todd got after him. And then game three, what was that, 8 innings? Bama hits a home run in the 8th to win the game. So that was a 2-1 game. So these are two teams that have, they've played it close this season. This is going to be the, I feel like it's going to be the toughest test OU's had. It feels like in a long time in a super regional.
Yeah. And
that could be wrong. I'm not going to pretend I'm not Chris Plank here.
Right.
I'm not completely dialed into the level of competition in each and every super regional. But it feels like it's going to be a big test.
No, I think you're right. And just kind of I was scanning the bracket earlier. There's some really good super regional matchups. It's going to be fun to watch it all take place.
We have got Liberty 6, Texas A&M 5, bottom of the 7th, 2 outs.
Woo!
1 runner on first. I suppose the winning run at the plate if she blasts one.
Tense down in College Station. Tense. Number 1 overall seed, perhaps going down. That would, I don't know if that would be a first or not, but that will definitely make waves.
Maybe we'll bring it back up in winners and losers of the weekend.
Yeah.
But first, if you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And 3 things matter in banking: service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
I like when guys get paid. And my man Brock Purdy got paid. Mr. Irrelevant 3 years ago. Not irrelevant anymore. $265 million over 5 years. That equates to $53 million a season for Brock Purdy. Interesting note. He will make more each week, $2.9 million. Under this new contract than he made over the entire first 3 years of his contract combined. $2.6 million.
That is a fun fact. And congratulations to Brock Purdy. They didn't really have a choice, right?
They had a choice, and they chose to not retain a bunch of guys to pay Brock Purdy.
Correct.
So, I don't know how I personally feel about it, but when you have a guy, it's almost better to pay him than to roll the dice on the whole thing all over again, So
I think it's to the point in the NFL where you just don't want to be the team that has the awful quarterback situation.
Yeah.
That's not who you want to be. So
No.
if you've got a guy that is, I don't know, what's the best way to describe Purdy? Like he's good. He's good.
He's top half of the league.
Oh my goodness.
Walk off home run. Don't tell me that.
Liberty takes down Texas A&M.
Oh, the number 1 seed goes down.
Wow. Struck her out on the rise to end it.
Shapa.
Congratulations to Liberty.
Congratulations to Liberty, and it could not have happened at a better place.
I've got a feeling that OU's softball Twitter is going to be rather entertaining tonight.
Oh my gosh. The OU softball fans, there's no way that they would rub that in, would they?
I guess we'll never know who'd have won that co-champions of the SEC tournament, guys.
Shouldn't
Awesome.
they? I mean, it's really the right thing to do is relinquish the rights of being co-champion after that, isn't it?
We have to have the conversation right here, right now. When you win a conference championship, typically you get a ring. Do you think Texas A&M softball, now that they've been eliminated in the regional, if they were planning to get co-SEC tournament champion rings, you got to call it off, right?
Yeah, about that order we made last week. Gonna have to put a hold/cancel on that for now.
I need to know if they got their fingers measured.
Jeez. That's incredible, isn't it? I wonder if it's ever happened before.
I'll text Blank and ask him.
When number 1 overall seed, that's wild. Hey, that's what they get though for that call that runner interference was not interference. In no world does that play interference. The fact that they reviewed that, the fact that the manager even came out and offered up the review was ridiculous. And the fact that it went back to whatever center where they're reviewing everything.
Secaucus.
It came back that, yeah, there was interference. This is what you get. Ball don't lie.
Down go the Aggies. Back to Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy. It wasn't very long ago that fresh off of a Super Bowl win, maybe it was not even the first one, that some people thought it was ridiculous, the contract that Patrick Mahomes was getting. And now it's kind of like what you pay a starting quarterback, no matter where they are, is kind of the $50 million a year number, right?
It's a good gig if you can get it.
Whew. He's good, but I think a lot of, he got tagged with being a game manager, and in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Use the players around you. Disperse.
He managed things perfectly, Ted. He's making $53 million a year now.
The question is, though, how good is he going to be whenever he's not going to have as talented of an offense around him as he had previously? So what does that mean for his play? And, I guess I'm not necessarily even saying that San Francisco's making a mistake. That's just kind of the way you have to pay now for a starting quarterback that you can win with. I'm curious to see, what he looks like now with a different roster than he's had.
He needs Christian McCaffrey to be healthy and a big difference maker. Clearly still has Kittle, but when you look at the wide receivers, Ayuk's still there, right? Juwan Jennings, Pearsall's there. Like it's when you pay your quarterback that much money, like You
You
have
need to
to
make those guys better. Yeah.
you you have to elevate the guys around you, right? That's why you're getting
That's
paid
right.
all that money. And I am very interested to see now that Brock Purdy is no longer viewed through the, oh, that's Mr. Irrelevant, we've got him on the best deal ever lens, and the, we're paying this guy $53 million lens. Like, how's he handle it? Because it's going to be different, man. The expectations change when you're making that amount of money, dude.
It changes the formula on the roster, doesn't it?
Just a
Isn't
wee
that,
bit.
isn't that crazy? And I'll just say, I think he is incredible when healthy, but good freaking luck having Christian McCaffrey healthy for 17 games.
This all goes back to fantasy football.
I
You're
do
still
not,
mad.
I do not wear the grudge like a crown, Gabe. I do not do that. Okay. That is not me.
Wasn't that 2 seasons ago, too?
It may have been 10 seasons ago. I think I got burned twice by him. I got burned when he was at Carolina too. So this thing goes way back. I've got history with McCaffrey.
Congrats, Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey, figure it out. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
OU baseball. And I'm only saying this because, like, as we were viewing this series leading up to it, the weeks coming in, it was okay, go win the series against Kentucky, which we didn't, I understand. But hey, if you win the series against Kentucky and you get one against Texas, you may have a chance to host a regional. Well, we know they didn't win the series against Kentucky. They got swept. And Tyson Witherspoon was incredible on Thursday night. And we just did not play good enough behind him. I thought we made mistakes defensively, a couple of a double play we could have turned. There was some things that happened, a bad throw down to first. There was some stuff that happened that were a big impact on that game, and Texas comes from behind and gets the win on Thursday. I wanted to see Kyson Witherspoon get a win in his last time pitching at L. Del Mitchell. He didn't get the win, but he was spectacular. His stuff was awesome. And we did end up winning game 2 of the series. So I'm proud of that. But I wanted to see Kyson Witherspoon get that win. And then you take 2 out of 3 against Texas. I don't know what that does seeding wise. There's people that, could answer that question, but it would have felt very good for me personally to be able to end the regular season on that note. So we're kind of limping in here. We've lost what 5 out of our last 6 games, and Tuesday we're the 12 seed playing the 13th seed. We're playing Kentucky, so hopefully we get Kentucky figured out.
Let's hope so. It Can I try to be positive just for a second?
I I welcome that.
The comeback in game 2 against Texas was a lot of fun.
It was great.
I know
It was
you
good.
you seem frustrated. I get it. You've been all in on OU baseball this season. You've made me be way more invested in OU baseball this season. I blame you for my disappointing feelings over the last couple of weeks. You did this.
I I think I was annoying some people during game 1 because I was in the car. I listened to like almost the entire game in the car as I was driving to Grand Lake. And I kept calling people at the game, what the hell just happened? What did we do? How did that happen? What explain it to me? So I admittedly my frustrations from game 1 have carried over, but it still doesn't change how I feel about this baseball team. I think they are a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And I don't think it is beyond their capabilities to go out and have an awesome showing in the SEC tournament, win a couple of games. Who knows what their seeding is going to be and where they're going. That's probably changed a million times since I heard they were probably going to Florida State. But we need Talkie back. Hopefully, he's getting close to being back for postseason. it's kind of changed the dynamic since he's gone out in the lineup. He was playing some great baseball. He's a good glove at first and a good left-handed power hitter. So I don't know. I still think that they're in a really good position. Malachi was ringing it up to 100 miles per hour whenever he was pitching, and if we get him, if he catches fire and goes on a run, and we got the Witherspoon brothers, and our closer's been great, hits been great. So I mean, we got options. We're a team that can catch fire and be dangerous.
I know this. Whatever regional they go to, whoever's got them in the first game is going to go, oh no.
Yep.
That's just going to be the natural reaction. And maybe whatever regional they go to, they're not going to have a good understanding of who Kyson Witherspoon is. And then they're going to look at some things and be like, oh no.
And I assume that he's going to start against Kentucky. It's what, I mean, Thursday to Tuesday, 5 days rest. I mean, that's kind of a Major League Baseball rotation. My guess is that he goes, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the case, but I would assume.
Not the strong finish to the regular season we were hoping for.
No, that Kentucky series was the thing that was kind of the fly in the ointment there, but we're still good. We're still good, and they're gonna make a run in the postseason. It's going to be amazing to watch.
Let's get to my winner and loser of the weekend. But first, Huel Black Edition ready to drink is a meal in a bottle. One bottle contains 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and is low in sugar. Go to Huel.com, that's Huel.com, and use code OKBreakdown for 15% off plus a free gift for new customers. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal. It's designed by nutrition experts and takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. Huel has great flavor options. They've got vanilla, chocolate, strawberry banana, which is my favorite, and iced coffee, which I love to drink in the morning. Got a little caffeine in it, Ted. Nice little pick me up.
I love caffeine.
Sometimes you're in a rush in the morning with the kids, just, hey, iced coffee Huel is what you need to reach for. These get me the extra protein in my diet that I want. Once again, strawberry banana, just so delicious. Tastes great. And you really can't beat the convenience of cracking open a bottle of Huel and getting a meal in. Go order these delicious and nutritious products at Huel.com and use our code OKBreakdown for 15% off plus a free gift for new customers. That is Huel.com, Huel.com, and use code OKBreakdown. Get your fuel with Huel. For my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Caitlin Clark. She's back, Ted.
She's back.
A lot of Clark discourse already. Hard foul against Angel Reese. Was it a big deal or not? It wasn't. It wasn't a big deal.
I didn't even think it was that hard of a foul.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
It's just kind of the hack. You don't get the free layup and
nothing burger.
nothing.
But it being something is good for the WNBA, and I like that. And Caitlin Clark starts the season. Fever look really good. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Also 4 blocks. How about that?
It's a hell of a stat line. I'm almost convinced that they should just do like a Globetrotters. Was it the Generals? Is that what the team they
Washington Generals? Nice.
I almost feel like these two teams should just play each other nonstop, don't you? I mean,
like a touring matchup between these two teams.
It feels like
going around the country.
It feels like this is the matchup everyone loves to see.
She's a superstar, though, man.
Yep.
I mean, so many people, so many sports people talking about this on Twitter. Like, it was the attention she is bringing to the WNBA is awesome. Like, there were all kinds of people talking about it.
And she's a superstar with notoriety, but it is legit on the basketball court. And because of the long threes and stuff, I don't think, and the people that watch No, but she doesn't get nearly the credit she should for her passing. Her passing may be her best asset.
She's awesome.
Awesome.
Very, very good at basketball and very, very popular.
Very popular.
But my winner of the weekend, give me the Dallas Stars. Let's talk a little hockey.
Okay.
They get the overtime win. Congrats to all our friends in Dallas. We got lots of Dallas listeners. I know you guys are fired up about this. Little moment for Dallas right now.
They need that.
Stars headed to the Western Conference Finals, won the NBA lottery. They're going to get Cooper Flag. Hey, we can talk a little WNBA in Dallas. They've got Paige Beckers now on the wings. What's up?
Okay.
Little moment for Dallas right now, but Stars, they're very familiar with the Western Conference Finals. And they're back. And awesome way to advance to the conference finals, right? You get the power play at the end of regulation, the third period. It carries into overtime. You got the man advantage, Ted. Thomas Harley rips one. Boom, back of the net. Game over. Let's all go crazy. One problem. I watched pretty much every minute of the game, and I didn't get to see the game-winning goal. I love you, Damon Lane, but what are we doing, man?
Not a hockey guy, I guess.
No, he kept saying, we'll get you back to the Stars game. You're not missing it. We'll get you back. And then they cut right to it and they're celebrating. And I just went, wait, what the heck just happened?
Oh my gosh, that's
I had to go
brutal.
watch the ending on YouTube. I had invested time and energy. I guess I was cheering for the Stars. I certainly wasn't cheering for the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, that's so fun. It's funny because I saw my neighbor earlier today, and he was pissed off that he couldn't watch the end of the golf tournament because of the weather coverage.
But my thing was, if there's tornadoes on the ground, totally get it. Totally get it. If we're talking sheer, listen, I'm all in. My wife loves that stuff, by the way. She thinks she's a meteorologist. Like she does.
I have to admit, if you're not like really invested in something else that you're watching, it's provocative television. It's hard to turn away from.
Listen, I love it. And I was monitoring it. Hey, big hailstorm coming. Golf ball size. You say baseball size. I'm like, okay. But that had kind of passed and everything had run its course, and they kept saying they were going to go back to the game. So I didn't even think I could have just pulled it up on ESPN, like the ESPN app. I have that. I could have streamed it and watched it, but I was like, oh, they're going to get back to it. I was just laying on the couch. They cut back to it. All the Stars people are hugging each other on the ice, and there's the crowd's going crazy. The horn is blowing. I was like, wait, what happened? I was just sitting there waiting, like, oh, they're going to get me back to the game. Damon Lane, my guy, Damon Lane. Love that guy. He would never lie to me.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh, it was one of the most Oklahoma things ever, right? You're just sitting there like, oh, they're going to get us back. We're a little severe weather coverage. Here we go. Not too severe though. Talking some heavy rain, some hail, some lightning. Okay. Should I have missed the game-winning goal for it? Debatable.
That sounds like a passive-aggressive attack on whether or not the break-in was justified.
I listen, I always side with the weatherman.
Now, here's the thing. I know Damon Lane. Had he known it was a power play that was going to carry over into overtime, I'm sure he didn't get that bit of information. They probably would have got back a little quicker.
I feel like he had a monitor and he could see that the game had started again, and he was like trying to get back to it. They're like, no, we're going to stay a little longer. He's like, no, we really should get back to it.
Oh my gosh. That's
but
beautiful.
Hey, third straight conference finals for the Stars.
Big.
Getting the Oilers for the second year in a row should be an awesome series. Playoff hockey continues to be the absolute best.
And they've had some great series this year.
Stars are hot, man.
They're hot.
Oilers have, I mean, let's be real. They've got the bigger
Gretzky.
names.
They got Gretzky.
They've got McDavid and Draisaitl. Like they've got the names, but
McDavid is crazy good.
Rantanen has been on like that guy. I'm becoming a fan of his. But hey, I'll be watching.
Okay.
So Let's hope the Naders stay away.
Which on that note, my wife showed me the clip of, I think it was Lacey Swope and David Payne, where she kept thinking he was saying the storm is twerking, and he was saying the storm's torquing, it's spinning, it's torquing. She's like, well, it sounds like you're saying the storm's twerking. It was hilarious.
I like David Payne. I like Mike Morgan, but we're a Damon Lane household.
There you go.
It's how the Ikard household rolls. Just that's my guy. I know everyone has their guy. I've always really enjoyed Damon. Does a great job.
Yeah.
I like his demeanor. He keeps me calm.
We got a couple of superstars weather-wise around here.
I don't think people realize it is like the peak of meteorology.
This big market meteorology going on around
this
here.
Is like this Oklahoma meteorology is the big leagues of meteorology.
That's right. That's right.
The best of the best, baby.
Yeah, it has to be when you live in a place that gets all 4 seasons weekly.
Maybe let's just use some better judgment. Like if, let's say overtime just started and the team's got a power play. That's all I'm saying.
Go little window with this or something,
Just time and score. Let's just understand time and score. My loser of the weekend. Thought about going with NBA alternate jerseys, Ted. We can rejoice. Did you see this?
Yes.
The Indiana Pacers announced they'll be wearing the traditional gold jerseys at home the rest of the playoffs because the NBA has allegedly instructed teams to wear their core uniforms for the conference finals and the NBA finals.
Oh, yeah. Well, the NBA must have been monitoring social media, I think.
Maybe they listen to the podcast because we've complained about it a lot. We've even gotten some feedback like, maybe you complain about the jerseys too much. Which, fair. But I'm so glad that I don't have to see whatever the spray paint, graffiti, neon, whatever the heck they were going with there. I'm so glad I don't have to see it again. Thank you, NBA. You did the right thing. Thank you.
Sorry to bring this up, but did you see someone tagged us in a tweet whenever they announced the Pope? And maybe we talked about this on here, but all the guys in those, I think they were like playing the horns and they're wearing those bright uniforms. And someone said they're even electing the Pope in the city uniforms. It was pretty funny.
I saw that. And I also saw the Photoshop of you as a Cardinal, which then got turned into the Pope. And that gained some legs, buddy.
Still have no idea where that came from. But hey.
It's like they asked, have you seen Conclave, the movie?
No.
Really? I watched it on a flight. Solid
Pretty
movie.
good.
Solid movie. Goes through the movie is the process of electing a new Pope. I was glad I watched it because I feel like I was really dialed into the process.
Now you're up to date. Okay.
Yeah. Feel good about it. But I think they did it. And I think the whatever AI program they used, like it was you with like a dash of Stanley Tucci, like just a dash. Like not a lot, but just like a sprinkling of Stanley Tucci.
That's awesome.
My winner of the weekend. Loser of the weekend. We're on loser. Loser of the weekend. People that didn't watch the Preakness because Sovereignty wasn't running in it.
Oh, do we have a race?
Dude, you got to go pull up the ending, right? Dude, it was journalism. Admittedly, I have not watched a ton of, I watched the Triple Crown races pretty much every year, right?
Yes.
I have never in my life thought the most physical horse won today. And that was like this move that journalism made in that race to get through the traffic just gets physical. Big fella gets physical.
He just nosed that horse out of the way.
Yeah, he did. And then just went.
He's a freight train down the. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And remember, the Ikard boys are very dialed into the horse race game right now, man.
Is that who they were wanting to win?
They picked my oldest picked journalism. He was like, he's gonna win, Dada. I'm like, all right. But of course, I used the Preakness as leverage to get them to not yell and scream like I was torturing them when I washed their hair during bath time. Because for whatever reason, it's like I don't it's only me. If my wife does it, they're fine. But me, it's like they're screaming bloody murder. I'm like, guys, I'm just washing your hair.
That is
So I
awesome.
told him, no complaining, no whining while I'm washing your hair. You know, shampoo, conditioner, whole thing. They've got long hair. They've got some flow. You got to wash it. You got to condition it or else it gets tangly. I said, no complaining when I shampoo, conditioner, and when we brush it. And then you can watch the Preakness.
Bam.
Angels, not a peep. Clean Ikard children on the couch watching greatness unfold with journalism down the stretch. Dude, it was that the kids were fired up. So fired up, in fact, that Sunday before the Thunder game, we had the Ikard 2025 Preakness in the side yard where my kids just ran down and back like 100 times.
That's awesome.
I
Who
they
who
galloped like horses. I didn't, dude, I don't know what's going on, but
who
it
knew that?
continues to give
Yeah.
me power in my house. And I I honestly what I wish there was more time between now and the Belmont so I could continue to leverage this.
Drag it out. Oh, that's awesome. That is great. Who would have thought that horse racing would just sneak in between golf and basketball and maybe take the cake?
We didn't even talk about Scotty Scheffler just being the best golfer on the planet. I get there's not much to talk about. Guy's amazing.
Incredible. Not that big of a shock that I mean, he he he's he's the best. He's been the best golfer in the world for what, 3 years now? Three and a half?
Yeah.
He's been by far the most consistent guy in the big tournaments. It's been wild. We see it every now and then that guys go on a run. We'll see how long he can stay at the top. He's fun to watch.
The Shambo with the T2. He continues to play good golf, continues to be very popular. But yeah, Scheffler is, I mean, he's just kind of on a different level than everyone else, right?
What's the deal with Rory's driver?
Okay. I've got, from what I could gather,
Mm-hmm.
they test a certain number of guys, drivers, every
Random
tournament.
draw. Right.
And it sounds like the more you hit them, like they thin, and
Break in, yeah.
if it ends up getting too thin, then it's the driver's too hot, and they pull it and make you play with another one. And that's what happened before the first round, right? And then he couldn't find a fairway. Okay.
Right.
Did he do media at all this week?
No media.
That is suspicious. What's he doing? That's
Because
crazy.
he knows the question is going to be,
Who
did you
cares?
use that driver in the Masters? I mean,
I
so
does anyone think that Rory McIlroy is cheating?
I I would even say that if you're good enough to wear the face of your driver thin and get it a little hot, if the driver's legal whenever you started using it and you made no alterations to it, I think you should be able to use it as long as you want, personally.
I agree. But it who was advising him not to speak to the media about it? It doesn't make him look good.
I know it turns what you could easily turn into a non-story into a huge story.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. And maybe it's not a story. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Is like,
dude,
I
the
don't
two
even know how
stories from the PGA are, hey, Scheffler won, and then what the heck was that with Rory?
Yeah.
Like those are the two stories coming out of the tournament.
And I've never even heard of that. And it might just be a totally normal thing. Oh, hey, we tested this one. It's a little thin. You got to pull out the new driver. Okay, cool. No problem. I don't need, like, maybe it's a thing that happens kind of weekly. I don't know. I just haven't seen hardly any. I don't remember ever hearing that before. So I don't know. And it happens to the guy that's, perhaps the most famous guy on tour right now. So whenever he doesn't talk about it, it blows up.
I'm just going to have someone explain to me why he didn't just come out after the first round and go, guess I just hit that driver too well for too long, boys. Like, and everyone, like all the journalists giggle and like, hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Love that driver, but it's not compliant anymore. Had to make the switch. Didn't hit it well. Everyone would have moved on.
Yeah. And I know they do that in college baseball. They like the equipment guys get together before the series and they put the bats through some type of testing and they put stickers on what's good and what's bad and what's available to use and what's not. Not that big of a deal. Now, if you use a bat that doesn't have a sticker on it that's been tested, that's a story. But I don't know. I guess I'm just not up to speed enough on it, but I'm kind of with you. It feels like just not doing the interview stuff, not doing media, looks like he's hiding something.
It makes him look guilty. I don't know quite of what, but it makes like someone's going to have to explain to me why he would make the decision to not speak all week.
Yeah.
The dude just won the Masters. He completed the Grand Slam. He's arguably the most popular player in golf. He's coming off the best moment of his career.
Yeah.
And then he just doesn't speak at all after any round. Like, that's crazy. That's insane, dude. And he's a guy that always speaks. Except for that one time when he blew that lead and then peeled out in his car and didn't talk to anyone. But to do it, to just say, no, I'm not talking every day. Like, dude, you're one of the faces of golf. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe we will get some clarity, and I am willing right now to give the benefit of the doubt. And even if I find out that, well, I guess I shouldn't get ahead of myself. I mean, I guess I don't know how big of an advantage that is. If it's common that there's a lot of guys out there that are playing with drivers that might be too thin, but they didn't get the random testing. Like, because some things that happen on tour, like those guys are privy to, and like kind of the inner workings of it, and maybe the general public's not. I don't know.
I talked to some golf pro people, and they said the way that it works, like the hottest drivers that all these companies make, like they go to the tour guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're getting the hottest ones they make. And then they're hitting ball after ball after ball and thinning them out. And I don't know, but I can't believe this happened. And then he just didn't say anything about it. Like that's so crazy. Who told him to do that?
I don't know.
Why would he do that?
Maybe he's got a perfectly legitimate reason that he's just never going to tell us, obviously, right? I don't know.
Birthday shout-outs. Happy 35th birthday to Jesse.
And happy graduation to Grayson Shirley? Shirey. Okay.
There's no L.
Grayson. I thought it was a typo.
Oh, you thought I messed up.
Happy graduation to Grayson Shirey.
To your defense, fair. Usually quite a few typos and birthday shout-outs. On that dang it. On that note, episode 528 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Wednesday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please check out our website, okbreakdown.com. We hope you have a great start to your week. And until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening, and do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.